Test, 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 test.
Yo. Oh, can you hear me? You hear me? You hear me? You hear me? No, 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 yes, no. Hey, hi, nothing. Oh, I hear it now.
Oh, hey there.
What's happening?
What's it? My headset had been dormant for so long that it turned itself off.
Are you saying you were just alone that long?
I'm always alone, Dave.
Okay, I walked into that one. I didn't see that turn coming right there, but I walked right into it. I wasn't trying to let you go that deep into sadness. Don't ever go that deep into sadness. Never go full sadness, Matt.
Never go full lots of things.
You can go full Matt. You don't want to go.
That's the one exception. I always go full peck. I mean, come on.
Okay. Is there a difference between going full Matt and full peck?
Well, there are a lot of different pecks.
Okay.
I'm the best version, obviously.
Well, fair. I don't think I've seen, but it's only one peck I haven't seen. I think at least to my knowledge, that I haven't seen. And that's winning peck. I haven't seen winning peck.
I thought you were talking about my various family members. And I was no. You've met my brother. You've met my parents. You haven't met my sister and my brother-in-law and my nieces.
Right, I haven't met them. Yeah,
you're right. You've met every version of me except the Bulls are winning me.
Yeah. I haven't seen winning peck, and that's the one that kind of You know what it's like? It's like drunk Amy. You know what I'm saying? Like no, I don't wait. Have you gotten that far in Brooklyn Nine-Nine yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah, it's like drunk Amy when she gets past. They've never seen her past the 7th drink, so it's like that.
7th
like
drink
I haven't
Amy.
Seen, yeah, I haven't seen 8 drink Matt.
You've seen 8 drink Matt. You just you haven't seen 8 Bulls wins Matt.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, right? Oh yeah, I've definitely seen 8 drink Matt. Oh yeah, no question. And he's awesome too. Baylor, what up, bro? Whatever, what's happening? Carlos, what's going on? Alex, not that Matt. What's happening with y'all, man? Hope everything's good. Bulls are winning by 9, and now 11, but I don't know where Matt is. Where are you, Matt, on this? Where are you?
11, 40, 39, 38.
Then when you get to 24.
Alrighty.
25. No, tell me 25. 25.
And Sync is working on Hot App tonight. 25. How are you so far ahead all the time?
It's cable. I'm watching real cable.
So am I.
That's real cable? It's not YouTube?
Yeah, it's real cable.
Who are you, Comcast or AT&T?
Comcast.
Oh, well, I'm AT&T.
Oh.
Hey, John.
Hey, guys.
I like your Mr. Rogers sweater, man.
Thank you.
It's pretty smooth, man.
Thank you. I like this team more than the Mavericks, I think.
That's not true.
I think I do. I think actually I believe in these players more.
You know what? Okay. You know why I said that wrong. You love Luka, but you don't love the Mavs team.
I don't trust them, and I think I'm like this. I think I like these players more.
Okay, I understand.
And I think I believe in them more, and I think there's more overall talent and skill.
I understand. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they
can look like a weird feeling.
They can look deep at times, man. When everything's going in, when shots are going in, and guys are in their place, they can look like a deep team on certain nights.
They got a lot of 6s, but no 4s.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they got a lot of guys who are 6s.
No,
who can be 7s.
Right. We have no 9s and no 4s.
9s. Yeah.
No 4s. Okay. Yeah.
And we have 10s and 4s. We have a 10 and a bunch of 4s.
Like Zach is a hard 8. Like I can argue an 8.5 for him.
Yeah, hard 8.
Sure.
I like a hard 8. Oh, he's a hard 8.
He's a hard 8.
Kobe's a soft 6.
Soft 6. I agree with you. A soft 6. I completely agree with that.
Mark wants to know how he joins, Matt.
I got him.
He's in the chat.
He's coming, Maker. He's on the way. You see him in the chat.
Help is on the way, dear.
Help is on the way. Like I'm Shannon Sharp. Help is on Saddle.
He's playing so well right now. It's crazy.
Playing very well.
He's shooting lights out.
Mm-hmm. That's when his skill set is elevated, is when he's scoring. You see, he only has 3 assists, but he has 13 points. that's when the skill set is elevated.
All right, here we go. I think we're about to welcome in a very special guest.
And he's sideways on him.
Sideways Mark.
Sideways Mark.
Technology is not my friend, guys.
It's nobody's friend, Mark.
You try to get an old dude on this thing, and you're gonna have some problems,
I love it. I'll just go like this, balance it out. Now we're symmetrical.
It's a story
of a lovely lady.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in our dear old friend, Mr. Mark Schanowski, the man, the myth, the legend.
What's going on, man? I'm sorry it's just been so difficult to get on. It's just
dude,
we should have done a practice run yesterday, like Matt was talking about.
It's all right. That's the beauty of Hot Mic. All of this is we're just flying by the seat of our pants. None of us know what's going on.
It's Bitcoin, Mark.
GameStop.
Yeah, I missed the third quarter trying to figure this shit out. So.
Oh no, we're so sorry.
So I'm a little bit behind. I saw they blew the lead. Now they got the lead, and now they're blowing it again. So guys got to catch me up.
So, Bulls went cold per usual. It wasn't as bad as the run they gave up to the Pacers in their game back in December. You guys remember how bad those second and third quarters were against Indy the first time around? They had a 21-0 run in the second quarter and then an 18-0 run to start the second half. So that third quarter was less bad than that. But, classic Bulls. Turnovers, bad shots. Denzel airballed a floater. Just all the classics.
But they closed it in the third strong. They did close strong in the third quarter.
They actually had a good close to the third quarter.
Yeah.
How about that corner 3, like right before the buzzer?
Yeah,
that was great.
Big old 3 by Sato.
Carter looks okay, considering he hasn't played.
Yeah,
he does.
Looks very solid. I've been impressed at just how aggressive he's looked. And the fact that he's actually catching the basketball in his hands.
Like, he got a couple of buckets early, and then he got hit in the mouth, and I'm like, he'll be out for a month again.
I was like, he saw a shadow.
Yeah.
He committed his first foul 14 seconds after tip-off.
Yeah.
Welcome back when all foul.
Dave, I saw your text that said, or a tweet that said 14 seconds, and I knew I had not yet turned on the game yet, and I knew exactly what it meant. I was like, dude, this has Wendell written all over it.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's right already? Goodness. But but overall, though, he's been solid. Oh, nice steal.
Wow, I am surprised Denzel did not pull that three.
God, he wanted to.
And then P-Dub just runs into a brick wall. What the hell was that?
P-Dub is just goofing. He keeps turning it over.
He's having a tough one.
I'm just glad he's okay after that awful collision earlier in the game where
him and Wendell.
Jeremy Lamb just landed on him.
Yeah, that one. Not the Sabonis one with Wendell.
No, when Sabonis elbowed him in the neck. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't realize how much of a hack Sabonis was. Like, honestly, I didn't even realize that. Like, that dude be beating people up in the paint, man.
I mean, it makes sense. His dad was all elbows and knees.
You should have seen him when he was younger. Mark, how are you enjoying the Bulls this season?
Yeah, it's kind of like going to the dentist. You're just glad when it's over. I mean, some things never change.
It's better than the dentist.
No, it's got to be better than that.
It's better than it's been the last couple of years, but they still got a ways to go. They've given away a bunch of games, and there's still a lot of issues with the roster construction. And I know that this is an evaluation year, and AK is going to go through and decide which guys are going to stay and which guys are going to go. But at times, just the fact that he's starting all the kids, bringing all the vets off the bench, you might want to rethink that a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I was curious what you think about that timeline-wise. You mentioned this being like an evaluation year. Have you seen enough for you to feel comfortable with AK and Eversley saying, all right, we've made our evaluations through 25 games. The March 25th trade deadline's right around the corner. Would you be cool with them shipping off some of these young core pieces if they believe they are not a part of the plan long term, or would you rather have them take the full season of evaluation?
Well, I think one of the things that's really discouraging, of course, is that both Markkanen and Carter got hurt again.
Yeah.
So, right away, they miss huge chunks of the season, which is supposed to be a time for the front office to evaluate these guys. Lowry was playing okay. Then he missed a handful of games because of health and safety protocols. He comes back and he hurts his shoulder. Now he's out for weeks at a time. If you're Arturis right now, you got to be thinking, can this guy ever stay on the court? It's gonna hurt his trade value. It's gonna hurt his, what kind of contract he's gonna get this summer. If I was Arturis, I wouldn't be sure what to do with the guy. It's going to be a really tough call on him because Markkanen and his agent are going to want to start at least $20 million a season. And are you going to pay him that? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Every time I hear that, it's like dagger to the heart.
Dude, it's true.
I mean,
because I'm a Lowry believer.
Right. Big Dave, you and me are both Lowry believers, always have been. But man, it's been hard to beat this season.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're looking at what you're seeing. Like every time he got on a roll, he went out every single time, and it's what we saw last year. It's what we saw the year before. But every time he just gets comfortable, and we're like, okay, well, finally he gets on the roll. He's gonna do something, and then he just goes out and just disappears for a couple weeks, and then we got to start the process all over again. And like Mark said, it's gonna hurt everything. As far as his money is concerned, his value is concerned. We still don't know. It's still questions. It's still all these questions. Can he be this guy? Can he be that? It's still all these questions.
Sometimes the questions help your value, though, because people still
potential. You mean?
Yeah. It's like, well, he was bad. It was the Bulls.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid this summer, because there are teams with money, and they're like, I can't play cap space.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean.
So Dallas,
everybody brings up
there's Giannis money out there.
Everybody brings up the Davis Bertans contract, right, from this past offseason.
Yeah,
and it's like,
okay, all white shooter,
kind of parallel players.
Yeah.
Shooters who aren't reliable. They're not very physical. Though. Offense only, sieve on defense. And it's like, well, Lowry should theoretically be a better Bertans, right? So if he is
he's a worse shooter, though.
That contract that was what? It was like 4 years. No, it wasn't 4 years 80. It was 5 years 80.
It was 80, though.
Like Mark said, if Lowry and his reps are looking for $20 million a year, as much as I've always wanted to believe in this guy, nothing about him says $20 million player right
now. Not right now.
So would you guys trade Lowry for Lonzo Ball, even up?
There's the question. There it is.
Keeping me up nights. Yeah. That's the question.
There it is.
Keeping me up nights, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Me too.
I'm slowly coming around to it, though, man. I don't see the immediate logic against it.
Yeah.
Would you trade for John Collins?
Yeah.
Sorry for John Collins.
I would. I really like John Collins, though. I'm really high on him. I'm
upset. I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a sure 20. In my head, he's a sure 20 and 10 when he's out there. Such a physical presence.
It's pretty obvious right now that neither Donovan nor the front office thinks Kobe can play point guard.
No.
And they might be right. I mean, obviously, he's 20 years old. He's played, 90 NBA games.
Yeah.
Hard to say that he definitively can't do it, but the evidence is mounting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it just seems like the front office and Donovan are not sold on his ability. You read between the lines on some of Donovan's quotes.
Yeah.
He does not see him as a point guard at all.
Well, Mark, is it safe to say they aren't really sold on anybody but Patrick Williams?
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say. And they've looked better last couple of games when Sato's been playing point guard. And even like in fourth quarters, they go with three guards, and Zach is the point guard.
Thank you.
No, playing, not starting. Yes, he can play it. I don't want him starting.
But this is a debate that we've been having recently, Mark. And I was on it makes more sense to start Sato than rookie Kobe last year. And then by the time Kobe really started balling, the team was such a dumpster fire, and we were also depressed that watching Kobe ball was the one pleasure we had. So starting him made sense.
Well hold on. Sato wasn't good either. Let's talk that in.
And Sato wasn't great either.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Donovan's offense, Sato's a lot more efficient than whatever the hell Jim Boylan was doing last year. And if you're actually trying to win while evaluating, if they wanted to take a step closer to competition, fight for the 9-10 play-in, whatever, I think starting Sato and letting Kobe be that bench microwave scorer makes more sense to me right now, Mark. What about you?
Well, we saw some analytics today. Somebody posted on Twitter that Zach's numbers without Kobe are so much better that he's got really positive net rating when Kobe's not out there. And when they pair them together, you got two guys that are shoot first mentality, both minus defensive players. Mm-hmm. They should split that up the best they can. I mean, I think they'd be better off, I think, starting Sato.
I just don't.
I win. Mark agrees with me. I win.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that he's a starting caliber NBA point guard.
Correct.
Just given the current roster, that's their best option. But it looks like, and again, I always go back to the fact that Kobe White's 20 years old. He looks like Jamal Crawford or Lou Williams, and you hope he's going to be more than that. A guy like that is very useful and can help you win games. But when you take a guy 7th overall and say we want to develop him as our starting point guard, you're always hoping for more. And we haven't seen it. He just doesn't seem to see the court very well. Sometimes he'll play really fast. Other times he'll try to force his offense. And I think at this point, Donovan is probably driving him crazy.
Yeah, must be. But he knows it's Kobe White. I think he's a better player than Satoransky. And Satoransky's skill set, obviously, better facilitator. But, and I have no problem with Kobe coming off the bench. Like, if you give me Lonzo Ball, I have no problem sending Kobe to the bench at all. Send him right to the bench. Let him sit there. I have no issue with that. But if I have to choose between him and Tomas Satoransky, if I have to choose between 6, 5, and 3, or a dude that might give me 30, give me that. Give me Kobe.
Well, we have officially reached crunch time. 5-point differential or less in the score margin. Under 5 minutes to go. 92 all Bulls Pacers. Sato is out there and not Kobe. So just gonna put that out there.
You act like there's no problem with that. Yeah, he's having a good game. And how many assists? He's scoring. That's what makes it important. When he's scoring, he looks better. That's what it is. That's all it is when he scores the ball. But that's why Kobe is out there over him, because he scores the ball. That's it. It's the hardest thing to do in the league, man.
Oh, man. And that foul just put the Bulls in the penalty. So the Pacers are going to shoot free throws for the next 5 minutes.
Shout out.
Hey, Mark, man, how did this podcast come together with you and Stacy?
Oh.
Yeah, that's been interesting because we've been talking about it for going over a year. And you know how Stacy is. He's got a million ideas, but he's hard to pin down on the specifics of it.
Right. So, remember when he was going to make a guest appearance on Outsiders?
Oh, yeah. We can't afford him.
We talked about it, 10 times over the last year, and it was always like, yeah, I want to do it. And he had all these things he wanted to check off the box first. And I'm like, well, why don't we just try recording one and see if you like doing it before you start worrying about sponsors and, guests and everything else. Let's just try to do something. And we finally got him to agree to it after last season ended. And he had fun with it. First couple shows we did was mostly just me just setting him up, trying to get him to tell stories. And as it's evolved now, we have a different guest every week. And, we've got kind of like a Howard Stern feel with the peanut gallery in the background too. So,
that's such a
John Walsh and his wife.
Yeah.
Do you guys like that or not? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. As a host, sometimes I think it's good. Sometimes I'm like, it's just too unwieldy.
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on it?
Yeah. Sometimes it can work. It just depends. I don't know. I think you as a host, you kind of have a feeling of what works and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Of what sound like or what everything sounds like, what sounds good and what feels good. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's like Baba Booey or something, like you said, like Howard Stern, and it feels great. And sometimes it's just over exaggerated. People just don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about I don't know, man. It's about finding that balance. I've always been more comfortable in chaos. I like when there's a bunch of crazy things going on, because for me, it's easy to pick out what needs to go where. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, for me, because I host a show called Open Gym, a YouTube show, and it's always a bunch of chaos and things going on, and I enjoy that because I let people go, but I know when to pick them. And honestly, Mark, I learned a lot of that from watching you, to be real. Like a lot of my hosting skills and when to let people go and when to let them do certain things, I learned because I saw how you did it and how you control things. So the fact that even saying this question is insane to me, by the way.
It's been hard for me because, I've been doing this forever, always in regimented formats, whether it's a half hour or hour sports wrap-up show or a pregame show. You're always looking at the clock. You're always worried about getting on to the next element. And to me, these podcasts have been going for like 90 minutes. Yeah. And to me, that's too long. But but
that's too long. He's right.
I'm constantly getting outvoted in this thing, because they're like, wow, just let it go. If people don't want to listen, they can stop. But what happens is, you get some really good, stuff at the end, but you don't know if anybody stayed through some of the dry stuff in the middle. So you don't want to make it, a contest to see who can last to the end of the show. Right. I mean, that's not the idea of entertainment.
Very good point. Very good point.
Meanwhile, gentlemen, just to focus back to the game, Zach just had a beautiful what should have been and one, and got teed up for throwing his fist in the general direction of the ref under the basket for not calling what was an obvious and one. I mean, he got hit hard on the arm as he was laying it in, and instead of getting rewarded with an and one, they rewarded the Pacers with a free throw. Sometimes, man.
Yeah, nice ball movement on that tempo three, though. That was sweet.
Oh, swing,
swing. Come on, Garrett. There it is, baby.
That's a beautiful shot.
Love it. I mean, come on.
This Kobe White in the game, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Your boy.
Oh.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you, there's something to that hair, man. When he had the fro, he got more fouls.
Because you're right, because you get the.
Yeah, it looked
there
like
was greater evidence of a body getting hit.
Yes.
That's why all professional wrestlers have long hair, so you can see it in the back.
Oh man, Mark, who's been?
Matt. Speaking of podcasts, how much of that $2 million did you get from lockdown? You got like what? 250, 300 grand.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Me and Jordan split $250,000 on that deal.
Yeah. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Matt, is there like play between all the different city lockdowns? Is there like a playful like rivalry? Like, how do you guys stack up to like other lockdown cities?
As far as what, like listenership, popularity?
Yeah, listenership.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess like
there's some friendly rivalries between the podcast hosts of teams that are actual like team rivalries. Unfortunately, the Bulls aren't good enough to have any rivals right now. But like we jab with like the Central Division teams hosts a fair amount. Go back and forth with the Pacers and Cavs and Pistons people. But
on Pacers.
We get a weekly recap newsletter every Sunday breaking down all the listens, all the impressions across the entire network by channel, NBA, NFL, NHL.
That's awesome.
And so, like, we know every week where we stacked up across the whole 30 NBA teams and the other NBA shows that are fantasy-related, nationwide shows. So, like, this past week, per usual, Bulls were in the top 10 of listenership across all the NBA shows. Because Jordan and I have been doing it for 3+ years now. We've built up a good following, and the Bulls are a big market team. So collectively, that has worked in our favor. Unfortunately, we did not get a cut of the company just getting sold to a gigantic TV studio company. But we weren't there at the ground floor, man. I was hoping, like, you want to be a podcast host? Here's 1% of our company. Nope, unfortunately not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you had to at least pick up a couple 100,000, man.
Seriously.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. In the span of a week, we were bought by Tegna, a TV company, and created a partnership with Entercom, which is a radio company that owns 670 and 50 sports radio stations across the country.
Man, I love how like 5 companies own everything. It's so fun for everyone. It's definitely a good thing.
We're owned by Amazon now. Is basically what I'm saying.
We're all Chipotle, Exxon, Verizon.
Oh, guys, we got a right side up mark. Look at that.
Oh, hey, right side. Oh, I have a question.
And a W towel?
Oh wait, I brought in a consultant.
I have a question, but this is for John. This question for John. It's not for you, Matt, because I think you would know this. But John, the poster that Mark Schanowski has behind him, Tell me what that poster is. I know what that poster is.
I can't see
know
it
exactly
really well.
what it is.
So do
I
I.
know what it is. I know what it is. And Matt knows. No, Mark, don't show him.
Oh, I knew that. I did know that though.
But I'm with you, Dave. Without him being in the actual
That's
right.
Okay.
I knew what that
I didn't
shot
need to
was.
see it.
Sorry,
I knew exactly
Just
what
you
it
would've
from
was.
the
asked
camera
me-
angle.
Yeah, exactly.
I did know it was that one. I was like, I didn't know if there was like a secret, like if it was like you're asking me what All-Star game it was at or something.
Wait,
like,
do you know what All-Star game it was?
I get the years mixed up. I really do. I'm real bad. If I don't remember the year, if I wasn't alive for it, I'm really bad with the years. I mean, I was alive, but I wasn't like thinking.
88.
Yeah.
88.
88.
Mark,
That's good to know.
you've got some upset people who want you to turn your camera back sideways again.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm seeing the messages. I'm not sure exactly what
but
that
Mark,
means.
you framed it perfectly. You have the Cubs W and Jordan on either shoulder. It's amazing. Angel and Devil.
You know, a couple hours ago, I had the lighting right. Everything looked perfect.
I'm sitting on the floor,
Yeah.
Mark, if it makes you feel better.
I mean, should we get you a beanbag chair, Josh?
Oh man, it'd be great for my back actually.
Classic.
No one's using it.
Mark, I'm shocked to see. I don't see your spicy papaya plaque hanging up behind you. What's going on with that?
Oh,
that's
that's terrible.
Hey,
I
that's
might
a
be on
little
the
better.
bar, so
Yes.
Then I could be sideways. And it won't really matter.
Denzel! Oh, Denzel, you gotta get that
Look at this.
rebound, buddy.
He's
This is
class.
not. This is not water. Let me just let you know that.
Denzel is the most Denzel.
I mean, it's President's Day. This still counts as the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Drink up
Still
and we
the
got
weekend,
him.
yeah.
Sure.
It's the only way to watch the bowl.
20-point bottle, baby.
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Can we please get a defensive rebound?
You know, I'm way ahead of you guys. It's tied again.
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
You got cable, baby.
Mark, you got to use that hot mic sync feature, baby, so we're all locked in the same time. Oh, that was
rough.
That wasn't a
Zach.
foul?
Damn. Of course not.
Zachary.
That never gets any calls.
He does not get any calls, man.
Dude,
Seriously.
all the refs have been bad.
Look
The
at
refs
that stat. Zach
they've been
Levine
so
leads
bad.
the NBA in fourth quarter points this season.
And
Put
he's shooting
some respect on this man.
He's shooting so well. Like I'm sick and tired of people telling
Oh,
me
that
like
was
that.
a bad
People don't.
turnover. That was a bad
That's
turnover.
That
vintage
was.
Zach. Vintage
Oh.
Zach. I take it back. We just had
Rebound.
2 foot was
A rebound. Come
Denzel.
on.
man.
Denzel is worthless.
Oh god.
That man
Oh.
to release an album during the season. The gall,
On Valentine's.
man.
You have to. It's on Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
that's
I mean,
true,
You,
but he
you
should-
have to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's a very
That's a
point.
bad shot. Oh my god.
Oh! What? That dude,
I mean-
man.
Mark, that was a bad shot, right?
No, step back three. That's
Jeez.
a specialty, you know.
Oh my
Ooh,
Look
god.
at it.
shot.
Oh, it's a bonus, too.
Wh-
Ugh.
Sabonis
What
played
other
that
shot
one
are they
great
gonna
too.
get?
Well,
Oh,
I guess
man.
it wouldn't have helped if he were, to drive it instead of taking a step back three because he's not getting any calls.
No, zero.
Oh.
And I don't understand it. I don't understand why he doesn't get that. I mean, he gets beat up when he goes to the paint, man. And I'm glad he gets a technical foul. Honestly, I'm glad he got it. I'm glad he's yelling and he's being upset and being more vocal about this stuff, man. This is trash.
Chris in the comments said, according to Paul George, it was a bad shot.
Second greatest shot in the playoffs I've ever seen is that shot right there.
Behind MJ's final shot in Utah Game 6?
No, that's not. I don't count that as the playoff. I count that as the finals.
Oh,
the
okay.
playoffs. I count Jordan and Cleveland as the greatest playoff shot I've ever seen.
Game 5.
Because it was no tomorrow. Like he misses that, they lose. Period. There's no overtime. There's no next game. That's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
And I
he was
love the Sam Smith bit in the Last Dance where Sam Smith was talking about MJ in the locker room before Game 5. of that series and talking to the various beat writers who picked, Cavs in 3, Cavs in 4, Cavs in 5.
Yeah.
And he's like, took care of you, about to take care of you.
Yeah, Mark, I wanted to ask you that too. Like watching The Last Dance, what was it like for you watching that? Did it fill in like questions for you? Did it fill in like answers to like questions you might have had or something? Or what was it like watching it?
There really weren't a whole bunch of surprises in that. We'll talk more about it when the game's over. But yeah, I mean, most of that stuff that I lived through and really didn't shock me. The thing that was surprising to me was that Jordan was willing to go, unplugged and just tell people exactly how he felt, because I never knew that he would get to that point where he would be, not worried about being politically correct, and he would just say what was on his mind. And I thought it was a pretty revealing inside look at what made him tick. Not that we didn't have a feel for it, but it was, it was graphic, it was raw.
Yeah.
Guys, I think the refs just missed an obvious jump ball call there. They actually are sending Zach to the foul line. What's up with that? I mean, that was clearly a jump ball, right? As Zach was flying past that Pacers defender.
Mark, Adam wants to know, whose basement are you in right now? That's right.
It's my house. My house.
Are you?
This is the man cave. I'm behind the bar, and
fully stocked for the Blizzard.
Yes,
later, I guess.
A tour. Yes, a tour. Yes. I want a tour. Yes, absolutely.
Zach, come on.
He's only been the free throw line 4 times.
That's
whole
insane.
Game. That's insane.
And
it's insane.
I think that was his second miss. That was his second miss tonight. 2 of 4.
Yeah,
and he's dipped a little bit below. He's been on course for 50, 40, 90 all season. Although I think the last few games, his free throws have dipped down to 88.5 or something like that.
All right. Breathe. I can breathe a little bit.
We got our high school diehard Bulls fan Eli in here saying, "I'm happy there's a snow day tomorrow. No school." Wait, are snow days? Snow days still a thing when kids are going to school online, remote?
Not in Texas. Apparently, my dad works at school, and it's like they're all excited because it finally snowed in Texas. But they're like, "Okay, we'll Zoom like it's Corona."
Yeah.
Like, what? It never snows here.
Yeah.
This is why you're glad you grew up without technology or a pandemic.
Oh man. I mean, they're the same.
Snow days were the best though. You would wake up early and listen to the local radio that would have the list of schools on the announcement of what schools were open and closed.
Yes, dude, watching the news, just
listen to the radio to figure out if you were going to school that day or not. Dude. Oh my God, we lived like dinosaurs.
Yes, it was the best though. Wasn't it a great feeling? It was like the draft or something.
Here we go, Bulls. Time to get a stop. Guard. Oh, come on. Oh, strip.
Got it.
Oh! All right.
Zach LaVine time.
10 seconds. That's all that means. Tie game.
I'll tell you,
he's so good.
Brogdon is awfully good. Milwaukee.
How did they
let him go?
How did they choose Bledsoe over him? That's insane.
Well, they gave Bledsoe his money during the season, which was a stupid call. If they had waited till the end of that playoff run, they would have signed Brogdon and let Bledsoe walk. I mean, Bledsoe is doing the same shit in New Orleans.
Brogdon was still young and rookie of the year candidate. I don't get it.
I was hoping the Bulls would sign Brogdon, but his price tag got to be too high. They got the Thad Young side.
I mean, a lot of Bulls fans were throwing Brogdon's name around, and I was like, ain't no way they're going to get him. He's way too expensive.
Yeah.
Adam said, put in Cornette. He's due. Oh, my God. How great would that be? Cornette 0 of 5 from downtown tonight. It's been interesting. Donovan has been, asked about Cornette getting some sparse rotation minutes against some recent opponents, in particular, like New Orleans with Adams and Zion, saying well, I'm just trying to have Cornette in there to pull some of these bigs away from the basket, which certainly makes sense because Cornette theoretically is a 7-footer, who could stretch the floor, but he clearly has no rhythm this season because he's barely played. And just chucking up bricks tonight. So that kind of defeats the purpose.
He can't shoot. I'll need that narrative to stop. He can't shoot. What did he shoot? Like 28% from 3 last year? He can't shoot.
Well, and he was unplayable with Boylan's defense last year. Like, you could not play him in Boylan's.
What are you talking about? He was Robert Horry. What are you talking about?
Come on, Zach.
Just an ISO.
Oh, no. Oh,
terrible.
God. God, we're going to
We're going to overtime.
See, we knew
Mark,
this.
you picked the perfect game, Mark.
No,
that wasn't that tough of a shot.
Run
really.
A play though.
He got up over the top.
I know, but we know
that was the play.
But that's how it is every time, and it's like, oh god, and every time it never works.
Yeah, his percentage on the
run up, it ain't working.
Good. Oh my gosh!
Maybe he should have shot a step back 3. I think
he had Denzel. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, you're gonna get doubled.
You wanted to give it to Denzel? Hit that 3.
I want him not to do one on ISO ball for the like. I just want to see something different.
Fair. That's fair.
Because it hasn't been working.
Oh, back to overtime. 100 miles an hour.
I mean, guys, we got Mark here
Poor
with
Mark.
us. I feel like we should sing the overtime song for Mark and all of our friends out there hanging out with us, shouldn't we?
Let me count it off.
One quick overtime verse.
You ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Overtime.
100 miles an hour.
Overtime.
Dancing in the fire.
Overtime.
I can take you higher.
Overtime.
Gore and Jim were fired.
Yes.
I love overtime basketball because it's always it's always avoidable.
And Mark, that honestly, Mark, would have happened without alcohol.
I'm stone cold sober. I need to get a drink.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Usually it's the Bulls are down by 20 drink that we have.
Yes. Yes.
At least, Mark, you were saying earlier on, there's just no difference between this season and last season. Losing winnable games, losing close games, the same mismatched roster. At least this team, after that ugly tripping start out of the gate where, they get blown out by Atlanta, they get blown out by the Pacers, they get blown out by, I want to say, Milwaukee. They have not been blown off the floor in too many games this season. And even some high-quality competition, obviously the Clippers game Friday was tough, but they played the Clippers evenly earlier this season. They gave the Lakers a tough shake. They're at least more competitive. Would you agree?
Yeah, overall they're more competitive, but it's just like a reverse of last season. Last year they were ranked top 10 defensively and they couldn't score.
Right.
This year they can score, but they can't guard anybody. So, it just depends on what your preference is. Yeah, it's more pleasing to the eye to watch a team that can get you 110, 115 points every night. But, you're still 10 and 15 and, not being able to execute at the end of close games. We've seen that over the last couple of years, which is really frustrating. There has been some signs of growth. They obviously have a better coach. They look a lot more organized. They seem to be getting along better. But this game should be over. You have 11-point lead late in the third quarter. You got to close that game.
Oh,
Indiana's really played like shit most of the night,
especially
and they just let them hang around. They could have won this game by double digits.
Awful night.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Doug McDermott.
Excuse me. Yeah, Dougie, the late scratch with the knee. He was their team high 26 points in their win on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. He's at home, man. He's at home. He's comfortable. He is at home. He is comfortable.
Sir. He'll be a Mav in 2 years.
You think so? I don't think he's leaving Indiana. I don't think he's leaving.
I know, but he seems like one of those.
He's already been a Mav.
Multiple stops.
He will play for all 30 teams.
Yes.
Kyle Korver.
Oh God.
They're terrible.
What's wrong with your?
There you go, Zach.
John?
Hit it. Oh,
they're very bad.
Yes, now.
Really?
Rebound.
It's personnel.
Careful.
Take your time. Come get it. Okay. Somebody come get it.
Oh God, not Denzel.
Oh Lord. That's what you wanted.
Going up.
Yes, boy. Don't you question the greatness. Don't you question it.
Everybody drink a shot for C. Red Fred.
Shout out.
He's excited.
Hey, did you get a lot of C. Red Fred energy from Clipper Darryl the other night?
Yes.
Because I got some. He reminded me of Clipper C. Red Fred.
No, tons. But he's not. But how can I put it? We understood it was a shtick.
Yes.
I think that's the best way I can put it.
His
It's a work. It's a
yelling,
work.
We're winning
It's a
a
shoot.
championship. Whereas
Yeah.
like Fred yells and actually thinks we're about to win a championship.
It's a work with Daryl to shoot with C-Red Fred.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Ah, damn.
That's good.
Magic Johnson, baby.
Magic.
Two second-round picks for that man? Is that what we're getting?
Yeah, would you trade?
Good defense.
Would you trade
Good
that
defense.
before the deadline, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I would, yeah, because he's not going to be around when you're going to be good. So, Boston's getting pretty desperate being a 500 team. Maybe you could fleece them for a first round pick.
Two second rounds, I think.
Rebound.
Even the great Bill Simmons is campaigning for Thad.
And stupid Kevin O'Connor.
Do you regularly listen to the Bill Simmons podcast, Mark?
No, I just
Oh my God!
Oh, Zach! No!
That was dumb. I mean, he left his feet
Rebound.
and had no idea what he was doing. Wow,
rebound.
We got away with murder on that one.
Woo.
That was such a bad turnover.
Shout out Viola Davis.
Hey, yo. I saw Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, Kobe!
Oh, yes, Kobe!
Oh!
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't it fun to make a team call timeout? Because I know we rarely do that.
That was a good screen from Temple.
Tragic. Fred needs new pants. I don't know what that means.
I think I know what that means, and that's correct.
Oh, because okay. I get it now. I get it.
Jack Tripper said Kobe, just saying. Yeah, he has some incredible takes to the basket, and he can knock down some threes. He's also incredibly frustrating. Yeah. Yes.
He's Jamal Crawford.
And we already have one. We have Zach.
He'll score in bunches, and he'll kill you at times. Right.
Yeah.
That's why one of those guys is going to get
We're a body
traded
with like 3 lungs
just
and no spleen. Like, we're just a terribly constructed team. It's so weird.
Yeah. I would love to know what AK really thinks about Zach. That would be a wonderful conversation to be able to have is this guy a guy you can win with, you can build around, or do you got to get him off the team before he's going to want a max deal? Because that's the thing that's staring him in the face because, with all these star players signing extensions, the free agent market is so watered down right now. One of the theories floating around out there now is that they should sign Zach to an extension with their cap space this summer. Maybe he'll do it. I don't know.
Do you think it would be a bad move to sign Zach to a max extension?
Well, if he signed this offseason, he'd have to give a little bit back. He couldn't get the full free agent max. He'd get like a 4-year extension. I saw the numbers, which I've forgotten right now, but it's a little less than a full max. So, the one thing about Zach and talking with him, the following footsteps and being a big star in Chicago, that is appealing to him. I'm not saying he's going to take less money because of that, but I do think that he would like to stay here and win here if that was possible.
Yeah. Nice.
It's not like he's going to try to run off to LA or Miami just because.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely doesn't seem money driven. Honestly, even though he's got $20 million a year, which is nothing to sneeze at.
I mean, and talk about already taking a discount for the past, 3 years of a contract.
Yeah.
It made sense that the Bulls said, go, sign an offer sheet and we'll match it because they were trying to, protect their interests and they didn't want to overpay a guy who's coming off an ACL. But he certainly
remember how
has
unhappy
more
people were when the Bulls matched that offer sheet?
Oh my God!
People were all upset.
Furious.
How can we pay Zach
$19 million
a year?
I was like, how many trash players in this league get paid $17 million a year? Zach LaVine might actually be like a borderline all-star.
It's an amazing contract.
If he develops.
It's a brilliant contract.
It's an amazing contract.
Zach LaVine is making the same amount of money as Davis Bertans, okay? Like, he is making only double what Cristiano Felicio is making.
The GOAT. Oh, rebound. Good rebound. Take your time.
All right.
Take your sweet
Now,
time.
how can we lose a 7-point lead in 50 seconds?
Think positively,
I
Matt.
don't see Dame Lillard out there anywhere.
He's got a guard on him.
Oh, Denzel. Oh,
Thad had a guard on him, bro. Like when Thad got a guard on him, you give it to him.
come on, man. Denzel's knees are too broken for a step back. He can't have that much torque on his knees in the paint.
Sabonis.
Oh,
Good
God.
pass.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh.
I see our guy Jack Tripper here is talking about tanking. Is he a regular watcher?
yeah,
of,
pops in every
hot
once in
takes.
a while. I
Fade
mean,
for Cade.
this 2021 draft class does look pretty awesome.
I do have a question about that. I'll save it though. I'll save it. 4-point lead, 13 seconds left. Oh, Matt just asked, how can you blow a 7-point lead? Why you put that out in the universe? I don't know why.
I mean,
It's
guys,
been done.
we're only up 4. Do I have to bring up the fact that the Bulls
Yeah.
are experts in fouling 3-point shooters this season? I mean,
Garrett Temple is brilliant at that.
it is a gift how frequently the Bulls have done that. Like, it is impressive.
Give it to Zach. Take your
Oh
time.
my gosh!
It's your
And
world.
they actually called a foul. How about that? Big Dave, your boy C-Dub said that he thinks AK wants picks. I mean, if I'm AK,
Makes sense,
I'm collecting as much draft capital as possible right now.
Yeah. Like I said, I just really, you know what's funny? Like, it's funny how we just completely forgotten about Otto Porter Jr. Like, we just don't even discuss him.
It's easy to do. Nobody wants him
Crazy, Mark.
because the cap space isn't
I
valuable. now.
forgot about him.
You know, the expiring deals are not important, so they're not going to be able to get rid of that
It's
contract.
crazy, man. Like, it's just great how forgettable he is at that much money. Like, you just forget.
And he's
he
young.
exists.
He's
Yeah.
27.
John, what did you
I think
call
he's 38.
the oldest 27-year-old on the
He's
planet?
the oldest 27-year-old I've ever seen in my life. He's 27 going on dead. He's so young and not young. He's Benjamin Button.
Right.
It's so weird.
Like, he's out with back spasms. Like, he's got back spasms.
He will be out with. We will play twice in a week, and he'll be out for rest.
Oh man,
It'll be a homestand.
Well, did you hear Donovan's comments the other day where he was asked about him and he goes, "Oh, he really can't do anything right now. He tried to shoot, and it really flared up." I mean, are you kidding me? This guy's been stealing money ever since he got here. It's
He loves
just
being
embarrassing.
rich. He's okay with basketball, but he
I
loves
mean,
I like what John said about him. He said this is his basketball is his 5th favorite thing.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. He'd rather do 5 other things than basketball, and that's like most people. Like most people go to their job and it's like, yeah, I do this for the money. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
he's like,
Oh,
this
man.
is a job for me. I happen to be 6'10".
Guys, great stat here across the timeline. Zach LaVine with those free throws, 12th 30-point game of the season, behind only Beal, Lillard, and Steph Curry across the NBA for a number of 30-point games this season. Compliments of the incomparable Jeff Mangerton on Twitter.
He's been awesome. Period. He's been awesome, man.
And
He should have more.
And he won't be an all-star.
Man,
And
He will be.
He should be.
I think he's
be.
going to get it with the coaches' votes this year. I think so.
I think he's gonna
so.
get it.
I
I
hope
think he's
so.
gonna get it, man.
God,
I think he's gonna get it.
That low post episode about selecting all-stars was driving me crazy. Oh,
Yeah.
board.
Oh,
Get that rebound for the love
No,
of
get
God.
the rebound.
How do you not get
Oh,
that rebound
he
here,
stepped out of
Temple? How do you
bounds.
not
Stepped
get
out of bounds. All ball.
How do you not get that rebound though?
The Bulls haven't gotten a rebound all night, John.
Andre Drummond, baby.
Man, Drummond and Blake Griffin both going to be on the move any day now.
Blake's going to LA. Blake's going
to Portland. Doesn't he feel like a Portland Trailblazer?
Portland.
Oh my gosh.
I say Lake. With AD hurt, I think he's going to LA.
Dude, give me the Dame, Melo, Griffin, Blazers. That would be so
Ooh, that
entertaining.
would be fun. That would be fun. You're right. That would be some fun stuff.
How much do you think these guys got paid for this Wayne's World Super Bowl commercial?
Couple million.
Is it at least $5 million?
Yeah. I mean, you got Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, and Cardi B. Yeah, you. There's some millions. There's some real millions involved on that, bro. For real. Yes, absolutely.
Also,
Mike Myers ain't doing nothing without M attached to that price tag.
Did Mike
No, but
Myers have plastic surgery that somehow made his face and head
No,
look
that's
more
it.
like a square than it used to?
It's just
It
age.
does look strange.
It's just old.
I'm Mike
It's
Myers.
old, man.
Canadian old.
Canadian old. Canadian old. You getting old, eh?
God,
Chris
Otto
said it
Porter.
might be good if Zach isn't an all-star. With it being in Atlanta, it'll wind up being a disaster. Yeah. Are they going to let all the players go to Magic City before the game, or what's the? I saw that they put out some rules today. The league did about how people are allowed to act All-Star Weekend. What do you think about that, Mark? Do you think it's silly that they're trying to push that through and make that a thing? I know, obviously, it's a money grab for the league.
Yeah, it's definitely a money grab for Turner. They want the game. They want the skills competitions and all
love
that
the
stuff.
skill
But
competition.
you know what they're talking about is having the players fly in Saturday, basically be quarantined in the hotel, play the game, and get the hell out. So it's not any fun for the players other than the ones that are getting bonuses in their contracts. But yeah, it's not gonna be a great experience for anyone. That's why LeBron came out pretty strongly against it, saying that they were promised they were going to get a week off, and instead they turned the tables and gave us this. There's no sense to play that All-Star game this year. None. They can name the teams, let the guys collect their bonuses if they're in their deals. If Zach gets named to the All-Star team and they don't have the game, he'll be fine with that. He'll be on the board as an All-Star.
Dude, give it to him.
Oh, here we go. Clutch free throws from Denzel. He's going to throw it at the wrong hoop, isn't he?
I do too.
Guys.
I do too, Mark. I think we're good.
I know they blew that game in Portland
man.
when they're up by 5 with 11 seconds. That was incredible that Donovan didn't call timeout in that situation. And they're like, well, Zach should have been stronger with the ball. Well, your coach should have called timeout in advance.
But also maybe Donovan, who spent 5 years in OKC with the likes of KD, Westbrook, Chris Paul, Paul George, thought, oh, my best player, my star player, gets the inbounds pass and gets bombarded from either side by two players. They're going to call a foul. But because it's Zach and he gets no respect, that didn't happen.
It did not. Game, baby.
You guys notice that referee was out of position on that too? Just 9 times out of 10, that's an automatic foul call. And it happened to be a female referee. I'm not saying that's why the call was made that way. But she was out of position and for some reason decided, I'm going to call a jump ball instead. It was a very strange call at that time.
It was. Strange being nice. It was bad. It was just bad. It was just plain old bad.
Well, the Bulls got it done. That's
I
think we have to have Mark with us every night now. He's our good luck charm. The Bulls beat the Pacers, their Central Division rivals, 120-112, avenging their blowout loss earlier this season. Welcome in. Thanks for watching the fourth quarter with us. This is the Stretch 4. We are the Bulls Outcasts. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. That's John. And our guest you know very well from his years of ruling the Chicago sports broadcasting world. You can also catch him now as the co-host with the one and only Stacey King and Stacey's Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Also doing some content for Stadium Network right now, so check him out on there. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Schanowski. Mark, thank you so much for joining us, man. We miss you so much. It feels like forever ago that we were in the green room watching these games together. It was a struggle. The Bulls pull it out. What was your first and most important takeaway from this game?
They didn't let it get away. We've seen a lot of games throughout this season where it looked like they had a game in the win column and then they wouldn't execute late. Obviously, Zach missed that shot at the end of regulation. Would have been nice to just walk off with that win there. But they did a lot of good things in that overtime period. They didn't panic. They went to the basket. They got some really good shots in the overtime period. I think Donovan has put in a equal opportunity system that kind of lets everybody get comfortable in the flow of the offense. I like what I've been seeing from the team offensively. There's going to be some growing pains. This is still one of the youngest teams in the NBA. They're still trying to figure out which rotation works best. And, of course, as always, we've had injuries to key players. That seems to be a given going into any Bulls season. But, they'd lost 10 in a row to the Pacers to get a win in Indianapolis.
And your thoughts on Wendell's first action back. Kind of a pleasant surprise. We heard yesterday he was a full participant in practice. He had the questionable tag earlier today, and then boom, just like that, Donovan said he's playing tonight. He's starting tonight. He had 11 and 9, so almost a double-double in 21 short minutes. Did you like what you saw from Wendell?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I saw him signal to the bench 3 minutes in. He was totally gassed. He says, "Get me out of here." He got a couple of baskets right off the bat. You mentioned he got a foul 14 seconds into the game trying to guard a pick and roll on Sabonis. And, you got the feeling that this was going to be a tough night for him to be able to stay on the court with foul troubles and inactivity. I thought he held his own. What do you have, 9 rebounds, which is pretty good, and the Bulls out-rebounded a taller Indiana team. Carter had 11 points, 9 boards. Pretty good job overall. I thought for his first game back, he did a really nice job. And, I know he doesn't want to play center, but he's their best option because Gafford, boy, was he awful the last few games. I mean, they didn't even play him today. That's how bad he was. So, it was good to get Wendell back. The things that he's good at are being a rim protector, a good defensive rebounder, and I think that he really helped them get this win today. So I think he was
Big
a real
Dave,
positive
you were
back out there.
Man front and center of the Start Gafford picketers outside the UC earlier this season.
Oh God! Don't put me in that.
Oh,
category,
you know you were.
No, there's no movement, but yes, I definitely wanted to see him start.
There was
Absolutely.
a movement.
There was a movement just to see it.
No movement. There's a movement.
We just wanted to see it.
I have no problem wanting to see it, and I said that a million times, Matt. Don't pick and choose on this.
So
I said that a million times.
one of the leaders of the movement to see it.
Yeah.
I don't even like the word movement, but yeah, go ahead.
What did you think about Wendell tonight, Dave?
Oh, I thought he was awesome. And that's why I don't like saying these things because I never said Wendell wasn't more skilled. I never said Wendell couldn't play. I just wanted to see the fit because I was completely thinking about Lowry Markkanen because I was wondering if giving Gafford out there would give Lowry more space to do what he does because I know the skill set that Wendell has. He needs to get the basketball in his hands and he could dominate coming in off the bench like that because he's completely skilled. That's really what I wanted to see. And also, Wendell has never played 45 games. Like, that also bothers me very, very much that he's never played 45 games ever in his career since he's been in the NBA. But yes, I was very happy to see him out there, and he looked good as far as aggression is concerned because I had questions about him being aggressive. We saw many times where he would be timid during the season as far as he didn't know when to shoot the ball. And a lot of that was on the last coach, of course, obviously. But he would be timid with the basketball. He didn't know what to do. Should I shoot this here? Should I pass this here? The ball would it seemed like he had stones for hands. Like he was Roberto Duran out there with hands of stone. Like, it was crazy. But he looked really awesome tonight playing against a guy who people consider a very good defender in Miles Turner and Sabonis, and he still held his own. Like you said, getting 9 rebounds, getting those 11 points, which are honestly his normal stats. But he just looked comfortable out there. And the offensive rebounding I saw, there was one play I saw when he got that offensive rebound, Denzel missed the shot, then Patrick Williams got the offensive rebound, kicked it out to Zach, he hits the 3. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. So, yeah, I was very happy to see Wendell. I just want him to stay healthy. Let's hope he stays healthy.
Quick pause from the Bulls talk and just reminding everybody, keep throwing us those comments. We'll get to as many as we can. If you have any questions for Mark in particular, as he is our guest this evening. Speaking of which, Mark, Adam said that your hair looks fantastic.
Yes.
And Maker Bayfield said, shouldn't Mark also have a hat on? But I asked this as his hair is too good and it upsets me. So
I wanted to ask that question. Like, Mark, what do you do? I've never seen your hair look bad. What do you do? What are you doing to get your hair like this, sir?
It's just the overhead ceiling lights, from the bar.
I mean,
it's that glow over the top,
yes,
and not.
No, actually, I've been shoveling snow so much the last few weeks that usually I have hat hair, so I had to make sure I showered up and looked good for you guys tonight. And then I'm sideways and I couldn't get the right feed. I mean, this has been the hardest thing I've had to do in a long time.
That being like one of the first things about walking into our first couple of days of Outsiders is walking into the green room and seeing you in like a classic Schanowski tan suit, beautiful tie, and you were hairspraying your hair, which was already perfectly coiffed, and had makeup towels around you to protect your tie. And I was like, oh shit, this is TV. I was like, that's Mark Schanowski, and he's beautifying himself right now before he goes on camera.
Yeah. It's amazing. Never a hair out of place.
Well, we we have very well trained makeup artists to try to make us look the best they possibly can. But you know, those were great times. I mean, we had a lot of fun doing that year, and you know, I was sad to be shown the door, and I know you guys were as well. If they talked to you at all, about the possibility of bringing the show back, or did they just leave it like we're cutting salary and we don't know
nothing like official either way. I mean, you know, what we were told is we can't make this work this year. We're not closing the door completely on the concept of the show. If at some point in time down the road we find the resources and availability and manpower to make the show come back, you know, we would love to make that happen, and we would love for you guys to be the ones that we do that with. But it was certainly no guarantee, and you know, I don't think the three of us were even banking on it. Which is why we're just kind of doing our own thing this year.
Is Portland still doing it?
That's the only thing they have in town.
Golden State, I believe, are still doing it. But you know, like NBC Northwest, like what do they have other than the Blazers? Like, you know, they've got, Portland has a soccer team.
That's it.
You know, Seattle Sounders, I guess, up there. I don't know if
Portland Timbers, right?
Portland Timbers
played for them. And I think Philly and DC are still going, right?
No, I know at least one of them got nixed. I think maybe DC got nixed. I think the Sixers people are still doing stuff.
Philly's good.
Mark Jack said he took a screen grab. He's going to show his sports clip stylist tomorrow.
Give me the Schanowski.
Give me the Schanowski, baby.
Well, Jack, I'm going to the Regal Beagle. And we'll talk to you about
Yo! Yes! Come on, knock on his door.
He'll be waiting for you.
Yes.
Get back to the Bulls for just a second. And, John, we saw both versions of Zach in like the last minute and then overtime. We saw driving and not drawing a foul. We saw a drive that led to an awful turnover where he drove, left his feet, turned around, and just threw it straight to the Pacers. We also saw a ridiculous dagger of a step back three that the Bulls absolutely needed. And we saw some clutch free throws down the stretch. Good Zach, bad Zach, Jekyll and Hyde. Did anything tonight in his performance, which, by the way, 30 points again, as I pointed out, to go along with 9 boards, 3 assists, did have 4 turnovers, that magic number. Anything change your opinion about Zach tonight?
No, this is the most Zach. I mean, this is the most Zach.
It's a classic Zach game, right?
He played the hits. My man. He came out. It was like no new stuff. We're just gonna go. It's like you want to hear the Zach LaVine hits. I thought that step back is what I take away from this, because that is an elite move. That is an elite all NBA type move, and not many players can do that. Like players can score, players can throw and catch. It was that step back over Sabonis when it was that close, and it was like in that timing, you're like, okay, there's like less than 10 players who can do that regularly, and it looked natural, and that's what I'll take from this game. I think Zach LaVine, if we're poking holes in Zach LaVine right now, it's like we must be living good, you know, like I've got some friends like in like the Bay Area, they're unhappy, and I'm like, maybe it's just not in the cards for you to be happy if you're unhappy there. Like it's beautiful, like maybe you're not maybe you're not meant for happy. And so
John, you made a great point last game, because Zach had 46, and we did this whole show, and we didn't even mention it.
I know,
like he's been that good. Like we're that used to him being
46,
awesome.
and at the end we're like, we didn't even talk about him, and he
didn't even discuss it.
I hope he's an all-star, and not that like it matters, but it does. Unfortunately, that's how we grade people when they retire. How many all-stars were they? How many, like, it goes on the Wikipedia page on the right-hand side, you know, like that matters. And so I think he's playing so good. Him and Pat Williams are the only pieces that I'm like territorial of, and like feel like I want them to stay around.
And Mark, you know, we were talking a little bit during the fourth quarter about how you see Zach and Kobe as similar pieces. We were talking, as you brought it up, that Zach's numbers, net rating, both offensive and defensive, Zach on the floor with Kobe on, with Kobe off, are glaring in favor of Zach playing without Kobe, and that you see AK and the guys moving at least one of those two in the near future. Zach tonight had his Zach game. Kobe A decent game. I mean, 19, 7 boards, 8 assists. Like that's a pretty good game for Kobe after some of the struggles he's played. And he had a team high 44 minutes tonight. Mark, if you can keep one of these guys, if you're running the Bulls, if you're calling the shots, Kobe's younger and has more years of team control. Zach's the more talented player right now. Who are you keeping? Who are you trading between Zach and Kobe?
I'm keeping Zach. I think the way he scores, it's effortless. He can score at all 3 levels of the court. People who want to rip him for his defense, I think most elite scorers in the NBA, with a few exceptions, are not great defensive players. So I wouldn't get too hung up on Zach's issues at the defensive end of the court. You need an elite scorer on your team. I think Zach scores, as I mentioned, so easy at all 3 levels. Kobe is a streaky player. I think that's what he's going to be his whole NBA career. I don't think all of a sudden 5 years from now you're going to see him become, this Chris Paul type player where he's, playing chess out there. He's 5 steps ahead of everybody else. I think he's going to be a guy who relies on his athleticism, his streak shooting, the fact that he's faster than most guys that are trying to guard him. He's a very, very good player. I think that in the right offensive system where he's featured, he could be really special. I just don't know if it's a great combination having the 2 of them together. I understand why they made the pick when they did it. They figured he's 19 years old. We can teach him how to be a point guard. Well, some guys just don't have that in their DNA. Kobe's thing is he wants to score. And I think you can try to drill it into him as much as you can that, hey, we're at our best when you're the facilitator. I just don't think he sees himself that way. And maybe at some point down the road, he'll modify his game a little bit. But I think that, in terms of roster construction, this is basically a blank slate. As John mentioned, Patrick Williams is the one guy that's here because AK picked him. And the rest of these guys, they're all interchangeable parts. I think we're going to see a lot of trades, maybe not at this March 25th deadline, but I think this summer the roster is really going to get shaken up. And the one guy that wouldn't surprise me, I'll tell you what, if the Pelicans will do Lowry for Lonzo even
and
up.
So you think that there is some, where there's smoke, there's fire there? That we've gotten some reports from a variety of outlets that there is interest in the Bulls with Lonzo, the Pelicans, because they have some of those younger guards waiting in the wings that they want to give time to. That kid, Kyra Lewis Jr., looks pretty awesome. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It seems like a good fit. And, I mean, we also heard all kinds of rumors about the Bulls leading up to draft night. Oh, they're going to trade Wendell and number 4 to go up to number 2 and take James Wiseman, just for example. That was one of many. But we have learned so far, since he was hired in the early spring, right after the league was shut down, AK plays things pretty close to the vest. So do you think it's mostly just speculation and the Pelicans trying to draw up interest for Lonzo? Or, Mark, do you think the Bulls have some genuine interest there and that there are some talks going on right now?
Well, the wild card in that whole equation is Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy, everywhere he's been, has been kind of a hard ass. He got into a celebrated pissing match with Dwight Howard when he was in Orlando. Remember when he was criticizing Dwight walked by? That was one of the funniest things of all time. And then Stan went to Detroit, and he wanted to be the GM and the coach, which rarely seems to work in any sport. So he flamed out there, and now he's going to New Orleans, where they've kind of, collected the Noah's Ark roster, 2 of everything, and it doesn't always work that way. And they've got 3 or 4 point guards, and they can't play them all. I think Lonzo has really improved. He's got a legitimate-looking shot now. I mean, when he was shooting across his body and all that stuff, that was almost luck every time it went in. Now he's got a real NBA-looking shot. I mean, when they played the Bulls last week, he had 19 points in the first half. He knocked down 4 threes. I think he's improved his game. He's smoothed it out to the point where I think he could be really valuable in trying to make this Bulls offense be a little bit more efficient even than what it is right now. I've always been intrigued by Lowry as a 7-footer who's athletic, who can shoot the 3 ball, but he can't stay on the court. He's going to want a ton of money. I think at this point, if you could make that deal, because both sides are trading for 75 cents on the dollar. They're not getting full value for guys that were picked that high in the draft. But I think neither side wants to commit to their guy. So why not make that trade, get a half-season look at him, and then you can make hopefully a value judgment on whether he can be your point guard for the next
Adam
5
said,
to 10
I
years.
bought a big baller brand polo. It came 8 weeks late and as the wrong size. So, that's kind of how I think Lonzo makes a lot of sense.
I like
provided that his father, there is a restraining order that doesn't let him within 100 yards of the United Center. If we can put that,
wait, so you're coming around?
Put that.
You're coming around?
I've been coming around to the Lonzo idea, man. Like I am still a little skeptical about Mark talking about his improved shot form this season. It's noticeable. His mechanics are way better, and his splits this season are ridiculous. In December he shot horribly. In January he shot respectably, kinda. And in February so far, he's been lighting it up, including in that Bulls-Pelicans game. So if that's actually the real new Lonzo, and he has the threat of playmaking and his court vision and can knock down shots off the ball, great. Then that's a perfect fit next to Zach as you develop P-Dub. I'm fine with it, provided that LeVar is not allowed in the building. God, where do you sit on this issue?
He's never lost. Let him build him a statue. Let him coach the team. We had Jim Boylan coach the team last year. We're at LeVar Ball.
Don't say that name. Don't do that.
LeVar Ball looks like Phil Jackson compared to the last guy. Come on. I like Lonzo. I like playmakers, and I like people with court vision. And we don't have anyone who can see that soccer pass, those chess moves that Mark was talking about. Kobe doesn't have that. It might just be height. Yeah. And Lonzo's not that much taller, probably close to the same height, but he does have that vision. He's able to see where people are, and just if he can marginally do that, that's better than we've ever had. Satoransky is
See, and this is the way that you get guys that maybe potentially can develop into stars. You're lucky if you get a guy at the top of the draft or if you get a guy in free agency. Usually what happens is you get a guy that's maybe a depreciated asset but has that natural ability. You bring him into your system and all of a sudden he explodes. And that's what the Bulls are going to have to do, because they've proven they can't go out in the marketplace and attract the top tier free agents. And the draft, the lottery has always seemed to drop them a few spots too low. So, obviously I'd rather have LaMelo Ball. But
do you think that all the LaMelo hype was totally legit from what we're seeing so far? I mean, Mark, it looks like he's running away with Rookie of the Year. Would you disagree?
Halliburton.
Well, I was saying consistently before the draft that whoever has the first pick, I didn't think the Timberwolves would take him because they had D'Angelo Russell, but I thought some team would trade up into the top spot and take LaMelo Ball, because with that court vision, that size, that ability to score over smaller guards, he's a playmaker that every team is looking to have, a guy that can really make a difference on that end of the floor. I thought that some team would trade up to number 1 with Minnesota and take LaMelo Ball. If the Bulls had been able to trade up to 2 and take LaMelo, that would have been the interesting thing if they had made that trade and taken LaMelo, rather than the James Wiseman thing that we heard about. Then I'd be thinking that AK was really sharp as an executive, and I still have high hopes for him. He was part of a very strong front office in Denver. They had some hits. They also had some misses in the draft, but I think that you have to be able to strike to get a guy like a Lonzo Ball when maybe his value is a little bit lower. I don't think that he's ever going to be, an elite all-star type of guard, but I think he'd be
as
awfully
West
solid.
says in the comments, as far as Lonzo learning how to shoot, the Sixers would love to have a Ben Simmons who can actually shoot. It's not a bad comp there. He won't though. He won't ever.
Hey,
he won't.
Hold on, man. Just a quick one right here. Adam wants to know: can the guy explain why he's wearing gloves?
Dude, that's shout out to my buddy. That's actually a dude I went to high school with, Adam, in the comments. I was like, dude, where have you been? John wears his gloves every show. Has for years. For years.
You gotta have a gimmick. If you don't have talent, you need a gimmick.
John wears his gloves as often as Mark says that's one spicy papaya.
Yes,
all the time.
Yeah. All the time. All the time, man. Hey, Mark.
It's because in the studio my hands got cold, and so I just wore the ball.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to ask you about Cade Cunningham, because these guys rave about Cade Cunningham. I've yet to see him. I always credit you with the guy who first put Ja Morant on my radar. You don't take credit for that. You act like it's a no-brainer, but I'm telling you, there were a lot of people who were not on that board, not on that boat at all.
He bought Apple stock early.
You were the first one who put that on my radar. What do you feel about Cade Cunningham? Should I be getting excited about him too?
I've been watching all these top college players a lot because, let's face it, I got nothing else to do.
That resonates.
But, I'm not blown away by Cade Cunningham. He's a very good player. Right. He's got good positional size at 6'6", 6'7", but he's not a superior athlete. It's not he's gonna blow you away by being able to drive past people and shoot over the top and have spectacular finishes at the rim. He's had some nice dunks, but I think he's going to be a good NBA player. It's not like, before he even played one college minute, everyone's saying, well, he's a lock as the number one pick in a loaded draft. Hold on a little bit. If you've been watching any of the G League Ignite, again, I have no life. I mean, this Jalen Green is super athletic, and he could be a guy that might force his way into that number one conversation. So, I think the jury's still out on how good Cade Cunningham can be. Obviously, the scouts like him. His outside shot has been a little bit erratic, but he's a freshman in college. We'll see how good he is when he gets to the league. But I don't think he's the kind of player that is a Zion, John Morant. Oh my God, we got it, or Luka. Where
Mark,
we got to have
before we let you go, real quick, I mentioned that you're doing, of course, the Give Me the Hot Sauce Stacey King podcast. Are you still doing Sharpshooters with David Schuster?
Yeah, we are. We're still doing that. We're part of a new network called the Basketball Podcast Network, creatively enough, run by two guys out of Vancouver, Canada, who actually started a hockey podcast network. So, I follow the guys obviously on Twitter because they're running our show. And now my timeline's just clogged.
Are they
up
also
with
canvassing to get the Grizzlies back to Vancouver, though?
So I'm getting.
They have to.
No, not too much. I'm just getting clogged up with stuff on the Islanders.
Who needs that?
Third D pairing.
And you've been doing some segments for the Stadium Network recently. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was one of the weird things that kind of came out of nowhere. I had tried everything I could think of that made sense to get a TV job in Chicago, and none of them worked. So, I tried all the stations, made contact with all the people I knew in the business, and everyone politely said, we got nothing for you. So, I just thought I would reach out to see if, I'd watched Stadium, which is weird because it's a show that's produced for the Marquee Sports Network.
Right,
so how does anybody find it? Because that's the Cubs channel, right? So why would they have a show that does segments on all the local teams? Well, they've been doing it for about a year. Michael Kim, who was at ESPN for a long time, came over to join Stadium about when they launched 4 or 5 years ago. He's the host of the show. And the guy who was the executive producer is a guy named Joe Riley, who used to be the news director at Comcast Sportsnet. And I just gave him a call out of the blue. I said, listen, I know that you use Bill Wennington and they use Shams Charania at times. And I said, if you ever need somebody to come on and talk about the Bulls, if you're ever strapped, give me a holler. I'd be happy to come on. He goes, well, how does tomorrow sound? So now, I've been doing it. I've been doing it a couple times a week. They have me on and talk with Michael about the previous game, what's coming up, different issues around the league. It's been a ton of fun. It's been great to get a chance to do some TV again. I thought that chapter of my career was over. So it's just a guy answering a couple of questions, but.
Johnny says, wait, Mark and Stacey have a pod? Yes.
Get on board.
Mark, tell them where they can get the pod at, Mark.
Yeah, it's called Gimme the Hot Sauce, creatively enough. It's funny. We talked about names, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this because everyone gets hung up on things like, well, we got to have a great name, otherwise it's not going to work. And they're talking about King in his court and King this and King that. And I'm like, why do you want to play off King? I mean, give me the hot sauce. and everybody looked at me like, oh, wow. I never
would have been cool if you stood up and said, I'm Mark Schanowski.
Right. I mean.
Yes, of course I thought of that.
It's the best name. It's the best name.
So So that, it seemed to me like a logical name for a podcast featuring Stacey King. And the best thing about it is that Stacey's an entertainer. He's much more than just a basketball analyst. And we do get off in the weeds at times, but I mean, some of the stories he tells are just laugh out loud funny. There are numerous times where I've got tears in my eyes because he's telling a story about growing up. He told a story about how he was a little kid and he said he only lost one fight. And he was talking about 12 kids jumped him on the playground, and including a one-armed girl. And then he starts talking about getting his brothers and going back after the one-armed girl. I mean, it seemed like an episode of The Fugitive, So, I mean, the stories that he talks about are just hilarious, and I think that people give it a chance. I think they really enjoy it because our whole thing is we usually talk a little bit of Bulls at the top. We always have some kind of basketball-related guest. And but then it's just Stacey riffing and telling funny stories, and to me, that's the highlight of any episode is the stories that he's going to tell. We're actually having a impressionist come on this week, and I should have learned how to pronounce his name before I decided I'm going to announce it. But a guy named Al
heard
Foran,
of that name. Yeah,
does that mean anything to you? A guy who does like boxing impersonations, Mike Tyson and Conor McGregor, and he does all the political stuff. So he's going to be our guest this week on the show that's going to be posted on Wednesday.
Go
ahead, Dave. So
I got
check it out. There'll be a lot of
questions. One, who has been your favorite guest? And two, when are you going to have the dude with the jersey on the podcast?
Well, it's funny. We had him on last
and his
week.
Woman?
Him and his lady. So that was good. And then the next day during the game broadcast, Adam Amin had to read a drop about how listen to the Bulls Talk podcast. Jason Goff has the Jersey guy. And then Stacey said, well, we already had him on yesterday. Because it's a big point of contention. The Bulls do not want to promote the podcast. And Stacey's been pushing them to say, I'm doing all these extra things for the pre and post game shows. I'm not getting paid. You could at least promote my podcast. And we're 2 months into the season and already they have not promoted it at all. So Stacey's not too happy about that. It's just one of those things where, it's not part of the Bulls family. So they don't want to give any promotion. But
I listened to that. That was a really good one.
We had Zach Lowe from ESPN on.
That was a great one.
Before last. He was just fantastic. I mean, that guy is one of my favorite NBA analysts. I mean, his knowledge of every team around the league is just remarkable. The stuff, we asked him about the thing that he does every Friday, the 10 things he likes and doesn't like. And he talked about the nuts and bolts of putting that together. For somebody who's been in the business as long as I have, that just blows me away. The in-depth and the video clips that are a part of every week. I mean, that's can't miss content for me. We've had a bunch of Stacey's former teammates on. We've had Bill Cartwright. We had Craig Hodges on, who was great, talking about how he got blackballed from the league. So we'll continue to have former players from Stacey's era. Hopefully, as we go along, we'll get some people from the world of entertainment and try to make it a fun thing. So it's not just basketball. It's really an entertaining ride. We're working on trying to get it a little bit shorter. But
check
that's
out
still
Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast with Stacey King and Mark Schanowski. Wherever you get your podcast, they're on all the major feeds. I listen to them on Spotify. Put them in that rotation along with the Bulls Outcasts and BAWL on Bulls and Locked on Bulls. Give Me the Hot Sauce and Sharpshooters with David Schuster. Check out Mark on those stadium hits for Marquee Network as well. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Schanowski. Mark, we cannot express enough how much we love you and miss you, man, and we appreciate you coming on with us. We had somebody just asking for the Paxson strangling Vinny Del Negro story. We'll have to save that for another time. We can't give them everything. We got to leave them one more.
Round two.
Mark.
Wait, Mark.
Hey, now that I figured out how to get myself in the correct format straight up and down,
Mark,
I think I'm good to go next time.
Hey, Mark, what's the favorite thing in your basement? Like, what's the favorite photo or artifact that you have up right now in your basement?
The favorite thing is when I took my son to the United Center when he was 5 years old and got a bunch of pictures with Bulls people. That was a time that I'll never forget.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it.
over there. Let's do it anyway.
Walking tour with Mark Schanowski, baby.
I mean,
Cribs.
we have to.
And the hair is still
we got an invite to Kendall's house before we got an invite to Schanowski's house.
Look at that.
That's true. Wow. Look at
so
that.
That's
fun.
awesome.
Wow.
Framed. Oh, I love that.
Look at Mike. Yeah. You got Jordan,
Where's
too.
the Jordan one?
Wow.
Yeah, that wins.
That wins. Yeah, that wins.
Yeah.
That's almost as good as Kendall's Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, Mark Kendall has a autographed Kelsey Grammer glove, and we freaked out about it.
Yeah. So did he sing the theme song for you though? Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
Oh my god, that's an awesome.
I
That's an
got you,
awesome
babe.
case.
So Mark, you want to come back and join us sometime soon?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy to. It was just a lot of fun. Like I said, getting a chance to get to know you guys for that 1 year we were together was a great experience. And I tell you what, when they pulled the rug out from you guys, man, I was heartbroken because you guys brought so much passion, reached the real fans out there. And I know the people that love Bulls basketball and love your show miss you guys a ton. So I'm glad that you guys found this format. I knew you guys would find a way to get back together.
Great.
And how has things been going?
Yeah, I mean, we got more
growing
people tuning in every
season,
night.
getting more and more people
it's
involved?
obviously a little bit more of like a guerrilla form of marketing. We don't have Stacey King reading promos for our show in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
So
But we get to work from home, so it has trade-offs.
yeah,
We work from home. It's great.
It's good, and honestly, it's been nice to see that there were not only people who were responsive when we all made our collective announcement back in November, I think it was, about the show being discontinued. The amazing outpouring of support from Bulls fans was just like truly overwhelming.
Mark, you reaching out was one of the nicest things, and you did not have to do that. And the fact that you did, that was it was so appreciated on all around. So thank you for that.
It was the latest example of you doing something that you didn't have to do.
Well,
like making eye contact with us when we walked into NBC.
You didn't have to.
Like knowing our names.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are fantastic, and I'm sure that this show is going to continue to grow because people want to have that real outlet to really express their feelings and not have to get the company line. Because I can't tell you how many times sitting out there doing postgame where I wanted to say one thing and I'm just like, frantically editing in my head. I can't say that. I can't say this.
Sure.
It was 14 years. There were some good years along the way, of course. Some of the high points at Derrick Rose, but there, the best thing was when I was doing the show with Norm.
Well, it was just his birthday recently, wasn't it? Just a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. This weekend, yeah.
I saw that Twitter account, Super 70s Sports, which is a great follow. Yeah. Had an awesome old vintage picture of Norm. I think you quote tweeted it, Mark. Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't his birthday. It was just someone found that picture and posted it.
Really? I love that.
Because he always used to brag about the fact that the Bulls baby. He was born.
I tagged Big Dave on that post.
Yeah, I had already had that picture. I had that picture like last year. And I was like, this is one of my favorites because you look like Bobby Womack. I was like,
he does.
It's great.
Bobby Womack would. We talked about. We don't have time to talk about Bobby Womack.
We'll let everybody get a decent night's sleep. It is a Monday after all. We've got three more Bulls games on deck this week: Monday, Wednesday, and then a Friday, Saturday back to back. So we will be back here on Wednesday. We being me, Big Dave, and John. We'll bug Mark about getting him scheduled for another appearance before too long. Hopefully at least one more before the All-Star break. Again, follow Mark on Twitter at Mark Schanowski to figure out where you can get all of his amazing content about the Bulls and everything sports related. Mark, thank you so much, man. So great to see you. At least in two dimensions. So great to see you. Give it up for Mark Schanowski, everybody.
Thanks for the invite,
guys. What a legend.
We know Mark Schanowski.
Have a great night, everybody.
I'll never get over it.
I'll never get over it. Big David, John, and Mark. I am Matt. Have a great Monday night. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll try and make it 2 wins in a row. Peace out.